This is Computer Insider, Canada's award-winning television series with Bob Pritchard. This week, we visit the Japanese Consumer Electronics Show to see the high-tech innovations from miniature CD-ROM players to 21-inch thin-film color liquid crystal displays. Later, we'll look at new fax machines. This week on Computer Insider. Computer Insider is brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics from...
Thank you very much for joining us again this week on Computer Insider. We've been receiving reports from the field that people who have been purchasing AutoCAD version 12, which is bundled with a CD-ROM player, are being back-ordered on the CD-ROM player. We contacted Dave Mountain at Autodesk, and he told us that it's a Philips drive that's coming in, and they hope to have the backorder situation cleared up very, very quickly. While we're talking about CD-ROMs, we've received reports that Sports Illustrated is all set to jump into the CD-ROM marketplace. Now, personally, I was looking for maybe thousands of baseball stats or the greatest football bloopers, but it seems that they're going to be bringing out the Swimsuit issue on CD-ROM. The disc is supposed to contain over 70 different images, including girls that have not been in earlier printed issues. Now, what they expect us to do with these CD-ROMs is to develop a calendar, a pocket calendar. It's a perpetual calendar, so it means you can make it for whatever year you want to. Now, just to keep us all plugged into the ongoing buying cycle, next year they're promising that they're going to have interactive multimedia discs for us, I guess, so we can really get close and personal with those Swimsuit issues. Reports are that IBM is going to be launching their PowerPC platform early in '95. It was earlier scheduled to be released in '94, but because of various problems, they've delayed the launch. The PowerPC, by the way, was jointly developed with IBM, Apple, and Motorola, and should offer quite a competitive platform for those of us who are used to using the Intel Pentium platform for your computing. Reporting for Computer Insider, I'm Bob Pritchard.
Computer Insider's Industry Insights has been brought to you by QMS, Seamless Network Printing.
One of the challenges we face in computer technology is to try and anticipate exactly where technology is going to take us to. Oftentimes, computer people get all wrapped up into the bits and bytes in the technology, which I suppose has its advantages for those who are technically orientated. But for the vast majority of us, what we want to know about is the applications, what we're going to do with the technology. One of the things that I've always wanted to do is to get to the Japanese Consumer Electronics Show, because in Japan they seem to be some years ahead of us in terms of how they're developing various kinds of applications and what they're doing with technology. So earlier this year we took our trusty camera to Japan and went to the Japanese Electronics Show, and we're going to show you a number of new innovative products onto the market. The first one on our list is a 21-inch TFT color LCD monitor. Now, it sounds a little complicated, but basically it's a very high quality monitor for your computer or for your television set, and it's coming to us in a 21-inch version.
Sharp's 21-inch LCD display is the world's largest active matrix liquid crystal display in the world. In the images being shown here, Sharp is highlighting how they can combine live video material with computer multimedia and give a full 24-bit color depth to both the multimedia and the video imagery produced. The images produced here are sharper than most color TV screens that use a vacuum tube cathode ray display, because their image source is produced using a high-definition image source. The young woman in the picture here is a popular character in Japan who's been in many high-definition television productions. While showing the world's largest active matrix color LCD displays, Sharp is also interested in producing displays for today's computers and information display terminals. And these displays are roughly the size of an A4 piece of paper, and yet they can display full color depth of visual imagery from video cameras or scanners and computer multimedia images as well. Sharp's expertise also extends to optoelectronic components. This new CD-ROM drive is less than 1 inch tall. It's also available in a 19mm high configuration to be included in a notebook computer.
A couple of other things we saw at the show we wanted to pass on to you. First of all was wide aspect television. That's where the ratio of the television screen is 9:16. We also had an opportunity to see 3D television, global positioning systems for the car and portable use, and also we had an opportunity to look at a thing called a mini disc, which many are saying will replace DAT as the form of recording high quality audio. Speaking about high quality, we have our fax on demand system all set for you. It's available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So don't hesitate to give us a call and get the latest information about what's happening in the world of high technology. Coming up, we'll be meeting with Collin Wyatt, the General Manager of Lotus Development Corporation, right here on Computer Insider.
If you want to attract more business, you've got to work together. We all have our own special visions of where we want to be and how we want to work, wherever we are. At AST, we build computers to meet your worldview with award-winning products, service, and support. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover, like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow, in a way a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088. Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
One of the things we discovered on our trip to Japan was that the Japanese manufacturing companies are looking at ways to expand technology. They found that if you went out and made, let's say, a VCR or PC, that there's not a lot of margin or profit in it for them. So what they're looking to do is to make their products multifunctional, in other words, able to address two different topics at the same time. Let's say you would have a VCR that might also have a camera built into it, or may work as some sort of a picture phone or something like that, so that you're able to use that particular electronic device to handle two jobs. Now, one of the items we saw at the show, which would allow you to do two different jobs at the same time, is a new sort of fax machine into the market. Now, it does all the things your traditional fax machine would do by putting paper into it, dialing to another fax machine, and transmitting. But beyond that, it has the ability to have a detachable hand scanner so that not only can you use the fax machine for sending out paper images, but also from, let's say, books and magazines and that sort of thing.
We have basically two directions, one for the business applications, a high-end, high-speed with the plain papers and so on, even to color fax machines in the future. But the other end is a home or small office fax machines. We have a few new machines just introduced in Japan, and which has a very unique capability, work as a copier and also as a telephone equipment, even cordless phones, answering devices are built into. One of the unique things there is the having detachable scanner. You can scan from a book or newspaper any size which may not fit into your regular fax machine to feed. And also the future product we may have is with a visual display fax, so that you can save papers, eliminating a lot of junk mails before you're printing out. There's some icons that you can see. It's like a fax machines, telephones, copying, messages, and so on. So whatever you like to see first, you can just touch the screens. That's what you need. Another one here is memory. So you know how much memory has been used already or message received. So for example, if you like to see what message you receive while you are away, you just press the buttons. And here you can see how many messages you received. So far you received 2 messages, and time you received, who sent the messages. So you want to read first these first messages, and you can just touch buttons again, press the panel, and you will see the message on screen electronically. There are many messages or faxes you don't want to receive, you don't want to waste your papers, or you would like to keep as confidential. Nobody wants you to read your fax messages, so you store in the messages or silicon memories, and then you retrieve, and then you read, and then if you don't want to make a print, you just can abandon. So the benefit is to screening the information and security, confidentiality. This is a brand new cordless phone with large display. And you can see the color of the display is orange now. When you take handsets off, it goes to green. That means it's working as a telephone, regular phones. So if you dial, you get big numbers on screen. And of course, while you're waiting, this is the way you see normally, telephone. So there are no mistakes about your phone dialing, and also time you on the phone, also on screens. Now it changed to orange color. This is interesting part of these phones. You can see cartoon, the faces of the many different people. This is supposed to be the family of you, father, mother, children. So you can pick by code. It's pre-coded. If your father, it's coded number 2, for example. So if you dial 2, your father picture comes out. So you know the father is leaving message, number 1. And then you see here many symbols here showing, for example, flashing now is shopping bag. So someone is going out for shopping. And also the fork and knife means went out for dinner or lunch. This is the bed, means you're going away and staying in a hotel. There are several icons telling you what you want to do, what do you want to tell them without voice. The secret here is you can leave a message without talking. So it's a telephone without voice messaging.
When we had a look at these new telephones that had the visual display, we were curious as to why anybody would want to leave a message without leaving a message, just using graphical images. At first we thought maybe it was some sort of a way of not getting into too much trouble with your spouse while you were trying to explain that you weren't going to be in for dinner again tonight. Later we came to the conclusion that we're looking at a new leading edge technology for voicemail, so that when you do put a message into a system, you'll be able to have images that will be displayed on the telephone telling the receiver of the message exactly what it is that the message is about without actually having to go into the voicemail system. This is very handy for some people who use a lot of voicemail in the area of 40 or 50 voicemail messages per day. Speaking about messages per day, we have our fax on demand system all set for you. It's got the latest computer industry news all set 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you have to do is dial in from your fax machine to get that information downloaded to you. Coming up, we're going to be looking at personal digital assistants right here on Computer Insider.
Only Sharp presentation systems deliver the winning combination. Don't miss your next opportunity. Get the Sharp Edge. From a family of incredibly vivid computer projection panels to our convergence-free LCD projectors, you too can have multimedia presentation power like never before. Up to 16 million colors in computer, video, or combined. Sharp presentation systems and you, the winning combination.
Computer Insider's radio reports can be heard 4 times daily on 680 News. Bob Pritchard brings you the latest computer news and information highlights from Canada's award-winning technology report. Be sure to watch Computer Insider's Files, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6:40 on Canada AM and at 11:28 p.m. immediately following the CTV national news.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover, like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow, in a way a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088 Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
Computer Insider is brought to you by Maxell. From floppy disks and data cartridges to leading-edge optical disks, Maxell computer products are 100% tested, certified, and guaranteed. At Maxell, high performance runs in the family.
I was rummaging through my computer stuff the other day and I came across this old personal digital assistant that was designed to allow me to interface to my Commodore computer in 1982. It didn't work very well way back then. Today, though, we can take our personal digital assistants and plug them into the computer, and that's what we're going to do. We'll start by hitting the Start button. When we come into the application in Windows, it's important to remember that we're looking at exactly the same format as we'd see in any Windows application with pull-down menus from the top. What I want to do now is show you a little bit about scheduling. You have two lines which give you the times for various appointments, so you can point and click onto those lines in your day timer. Here, though, we key them in by hand. Something else to keep in mind is that this whole effort is Windows driven, so simply by pressing a mouse button, we can select various applications that we want to work to. Also, if we wanted to skip through months, by simply pushing a button up here, we can skip back and forth month to month or year to year. Now, I wanted to go along and show you some other aspects of this whole thing, so we'll go over here to our button menu. This takes us into our phone directory. Now, we have 3 different phone books available to you, and each one of them is laid out, if you see across the top here, with the letters of the alphabet group, so it's relatively easy to get a hold of any one individual's phone number. Also, other modules like the notebook and anniversaries are all laid out in the same format, so it's relatively straightforward in terms of how you'd be able to find any one aspect in the machine. Now, one of the important aspects of having a day timer and also having a computer-based system is to have the two of them to talk to each other. So we do that by using the link function, which is right here. We'll just click on it. We're going to receive the data from our day timer into the computer. Now, when we bring up the menu, what we have here is a whole bunch of different options, which are the same options as we would have on our screen in the day timer itself. So we're going to select all. Then over here in this box, we have the opportunity to append or update our records, overwrite records, or modify the existing database. Now, when we go inside here, there's other options available because this is a Windows-based program. We can select whatever communications port we want to, COM1, 2, 3, or 4. Remember, you can only use one communications port at a time, so make sure you don't have a mouse or a modem or anything else on your computer at that point in time. Some other aspects about it all, we can modify the menus by simply clicking on an icon. It removes some of the menuing or it adds it in. We'll put some of the menus back in because later on when people go to use the application and the menus are missing, they may find it just a little bit on the confusing side. As far as the other menus that go, we have the ability to put in appointments. Actually, why don't we do that? Why don't we set up a new appointment now by simply clicking on the icon. Here we go. First thing we do is look at the date information. Because it's Windows, it's point and click. We use the up arrows and the down arrows to change the date and the month and that sort of thing. We put in a little bit of information here, calling it our test record in the scheduler, and we can save that information by going up onto our menus, using our pull downs to find the command we want to use. This is a common aspect of all areas of Windows. So wherever you are, your menus should work very comfortably for you, which is of course one of the big improvements from DOS. Let's put this away by hitting on the close button. Again, a pull down menu, and we're back into our anniversary. And you can see that we've already laid in the message itself. We can go through and edit this by double clicking on it. It will bring back that menu we had just a few minutes ago and allow us to go in and modify it, whether we're going to take it to another date, make the anniversary come up over and over and over again, or whatever. Anyway, let's head back over to the studio and look at some of the technical details on the product. Because this is a Windows-based application, obviously you need Windows and some software for Windows. Optionally, you need to have a cable to connect the day timer to the computer, and then everything should work just fine for you. Remember, we have our fax on demand system all set for you, so give us a call to the first number on the television screen. Coming up, we're going to be talking with Collin Wyatt right here on Computer Insider.
2 days until the presentation. Plenty of time to pull it all together.
Hi, Marcy. Sorry, the deadline moved up 24 hours. See you in the morning.
Looks like a long night ahead. With her AST computer, she'll make it on time. AST Computers and Support for a winning performance. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation.
Today on our executive briefing, we're meeting with Collin Wyatt, who's in charge of Lotus Development Corporation here in Canada. Lotus, by the way, is the developer of Lotus 123, a leading spreadsheet package in the marketplace. Collin, I was wondering, we've heard a lot of talk about the suite market and how they're bundling applications. Can you tell us about Lotus's Smart Suite?
Smart Suite 3.0 is our new desktop suite, which has updated versions of 123, ME Pro, Freelance, Organizer, and the rest of our products, including ScreenCam, which is a new addition for Smart Suite 3.0.
Collin, when we look at what's happening in the spreadsheet marketplace, you've got huge competition coming in from Excel and QuatraPro and other players. What is it you're doing in the latest release of 123 version 5 to hold on to your market leadership position?
Well, obviously we have a base in spreadsheets, but clearly what's happening is that the desktop is only important to the extent to which you can get your job done using the desktop. Which, with companies moving to workgroup computing and using groupware, we feel that the desktop that's most integrated and integrates those features will be the winner.
Collin, when we look at how the suite marketplace is going, every company has their own combination, whether it's based on Windows or word processing. Do you see any changes coming down the road to the applications that are included in Smart Suite?
Well, spreadsheets were our original business, and with Release 5 we've included maps so that you can graph your results with maps of the world. We've also included the ability to use range routing, which is to highlight a range and just send that range and the formulas associated with it to one of your co-workers. And we've also, again, made the product easier to use with Lotus Approach and Lotus Notes.
Collin, when we look into the marketplace, we're seeing that there's a number of consolidations happening within the companies. WordPerfect is now part of Novell. And I wanted to ask you specifically about your relationship with IBM. I know you've used their marketing people in the past to move notes into the marketplace, and I was wondering if you could fill in the detail on your relationship with IBM.
Well, our relationship with IBM is really twofold. One is they were a business partner with ours in marketing Lotus Notes, and we continue to work very closely with them in their accounts on Lotus Notes, as well as being a reseller of some of our products, including Notes in the Canadian marketplace. And of course, we have the only OS2 desktop suite, which is on the market.
Collin, when we start to look at the software marketplace, Microsoft is like a juggernaut sailing down the information highway, if you will. How do you feel about Microsoft, and what plans do you have to offset their challenge?
You know, they are a force to be reckoned with, but, you know, they're sort of doing everything out there in the marketplace. My feeling is that their competitors, and Lotus included, are focused on, you know, certain parts of the business. We are absolutely in the corporate marketplace. We don't intend to be in the video game business or the golf business or that kind of programming environment.
Collin, when we look through the applications that are included in Smart Suite, we notice that you do have a flat database approach, but are there any plans or any futures for developing a relational database for Smart Suite?
Well, we're working on the road towards a 32-bit release of ME Pro for the new Microsoft operating system, as well as today we've just announced a business partnership with Oracle for their relational database, where we're going to tie Notes very, very tightly into their database function. We feel we have the best front end and access tool to database, and they have the most popular relational database tool in the marketplace.
Collin, when we look at the applications that Lotus offers into the marketplace, probably the least known yet one of the most popular applications is Lotus Notes. Can you tell us about Notes?
Well, Lotus Notes is really the only product that exists in the category of workgroup computing or groupware. And what it really allows companies and individuals to do is share data and information from their desktop with users worldwide and really contribute to this collaborative computing workgroup environment that companies are undertaking.
Thank you very much, Collin, for joining us. And by the way, congratulations on your recent appointment to head up Lotus Development Corporation in Europe. Collin Wyatt is the General Manager of Lotus Development Canada. Coming up, we're going to be looking at the role of consumer electronics and how it impacts us all, right here on Computer Insider.
This top marketing executive prepares himself for the demands of today's business with his new Sharp electronic organizer. He has accelerated to the top through careful planning and organization, but he doesn't keep it all in his head. Instead, his competitive advantage is at hand. Always with him, ready with the information most needed, and sometimes with what's needed most. Sharp electronic organizers.
Computer Insider's radio reports can be heard 4 times daily on 680 News. Bob Pritchard brings you the latest computer news and information highlights from Canada's award-winning technology report. Be sure to watch Computer Insider's Files, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6:40 on Canada AM and at 11:28 p.m. immediately following the CTV national news.
On our recent trip to Japan, we had quite a surprise with the level of technology that was available in Japan. Not so much in terms of your computer technology and that sort of thing, because that's pretty much a universal standard now, but in terms of how that technology is being put to use. First of all, in the Japanese market, we found that about only half of the technology sales are personal computers. The other half are dedicated word processors. But those word processors look more like a computer than you and I might want to think. For example, you can type into the document just like you would in your word processor, but it also does OCR, optical character recognition, it does translations, it prints in color, and a whole number of other features which you might see in a dedicated word processor. Other areas that we thought were really quite fascinating was the use of personal digital assistants. Now, I use a PDA here to look after my appointments and phone books and that sort of thing. But in the Japanese market, they've taken it one step further. Like my daytimer here, I can key information into it. But unlike my current daytimer, I can take that information and have it transmitted to another person with a similar device within 1.5 miles of my location. Think of the impact. You're in a business meeting, you're negotiating with somebody, type in a message, find out about some piece of information that's happening somewhere else. You can set up your cues and your responses to each other to better position yourself in the marketing or negotiations that you're involved in. That technology is just evolving. Also, that same PDA device had the ability to send and receive voice up to 1.5 miles. There's a whole new world coming that we have to be prepared for. We have to embrace it and use it because it's our future. I'm Bob Pritchard, Computer Insider.
Computer Insider has been brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.